Hello class, this is Mr. Soy. In today's lesson, 8.2.2, we're really trying to look at how we can solve a quadratic equation. And we'll get into the details of that in a little bit. But this first video is really intended to give you some background information around the three different forms of a quadratic and then how we can use those and some of the features of their graph to solve quadratics. So this is a little background information first. So as you can see here, I've written out the three forms of a quadratic. The first is the standard form, and we're pretty familiar with that. We call that a trinomial. This one here, factored form, we're also familiar with that, considering we've just been doing a bunch of factoring using generic rectangles, some of the shortcuts, of special cases. And then this new one over here, vertex form, this is one you haven't probably seen before, but it can also be quite useful in helping us solve a quadratic equation, especially if we're given it in this format. So let's take a look at these, each of them in detail. All right, starting with the standard form, the a here that we have is known as a leading coefficient. And the leading coefficient, if you look closely at all three forms, is identical. This a is equal to this a is equal to that a for any given quadratic, regardless of which form it's in. So the a, the leading coefficient, we can automatically assume what that's going to be in the other forms when we're given it in one of the forms. Okay. The next piece that we're familiar with, and we've looked at this in a lot of different ways, it's the c term, and in this case, that's my y-intercept. And so like when we've looked at, exponential equations and linear equations, we're always trying to find our start value or y-intercept. Well, with a quadratic, the c term in the standard form is in fact our y-intercept. And we can exploit that fact in a lot of different types of processes to allow us to solve a quadratic, graph a quadratic, etc. So the real question, since we're looking at how we might solve a quadratic, is, well, how do I solve a quadratic, when it's in standard form? Well, we're not going to use all of the techniques today, but I can tell you that in standard form, you would solve this form, the standard form of a quadratic, using completing the square, and then you can also solve it using quadratic formula. And we'll look at that. We'll look at both of these in later lessons. So those are the two different methods that we can use to solve when we have a standard form quadratic. All right, let's move on over to the factored form. So again, we already know our a term's this leading coefficient. And now we've got this x minus r1 times x minus r2. And it begs the question, well, what is r1 and r2? So let's write that down. r1 comma r2, those are the roots of a quadratic. They're also known as the x-intercepts. Okay, we know we're familiar with that. They're also known as the zeros. Okay, that's something new. And so a lot of different ways that we can look at this. They've also been called the solution. So that's a key word when we're looking at how we solve a quadratic equation, because if we're trying to find the solution to solving a quadratic equation, then these are what we're actually looking for. We're looking for R1 and R2. And there is a technique for solving when we have it in factored form, and it's called the zero product property. And we're going to look at that today in a later lesson, because zero product property allows us to take the factored form and immediately solve it to find our R1 and our R2, which is also the solution to that quadratic. The other form we're looking at here is the vertex form, and it has a very interesting format to it. Notice that this x minus h quantity square, well, okay, that looks similar to this, but it's not the same, and it's a square, which we call a perfect square that you've already looked at. Our leading coefficient, as you can see, is still going to be a, and it's the same as this a and the same as that a for any given quadratic. But this h and k, that's a rather interesting and new feature that we need to explain. So explaining that, well, it turns out that h comma k, a point, and that point is the vertex of a quadratic equation. So when I graph this, the lowest or highest point is known as the vertex, and we're going to look at that in a little bit more detail so you understand what I mean. But h comma k gives us the vertex. So again, we have a feature of the graph that we can look at and immediately determine when we have it in vertex form. And we're going to basically do that, but first we need a little bit more background information when we're looking at a quadratic graph. So let's go to the next page. All right, so here I've basically graphed an equation, a quadratic equation, and the equation in standard form is the following. X squared minus 5x plus 6. So that's what it is in standard form, and if you look closely, you'll notice that our y-intercept, which we determined in the standard form, is that term, also known as the c. So remember, we have a, b, c. That c term does correspond over here to our y-intercept. So our y-intercept is at the point 0, 6. So that matches, okay. And this is one that I can easily factor. My leading coefficient a is just 1, so that makes it much easier. So I can put it in factored form as well if I wish, by recognizing that it's going to be x, and it's going to be at least one negative. But wait a minute, if I had one negative, then this last term, right? So one of them has to be negative. But if I had only one negative, then this last term would also be negative. That tells me then both of these are negative to give me a positive when I multiply in the last term. So I can basically add that in, x minus. And now I'm just looking at, okay, I need two numbers that add to 5 but multiply to 6. And of course, we could build our diamond and go through that process, but I can recognize it pretty easily. Two numbers that add to 5, multiply to 6, that's just going to simply be 2 and 3. And if you multiplied this out, you would immediately see that that is indeed the factored form. So now we have the factored form, and as I told you on the previous slide, that's my R1 and that's my R2, my roots or solution. But they're also known as the x-intercepts. So now I can go over here to my graph and I can see, okay, well, it's crossing right here and it's crossing right there, the x-axis. So those have to be my x-intercepts. At any x-intercept, y is 0. And so I can write these points out really quickly as, all right, this one is going to be 2, 0, and then this one right here is going to be 3, 0. And you will notice something interesting. You'll notice that in my x-intercepts, both of those roots are positive, but in the factored form, they're actually negative. That's why when I first presented it, it was x minus R1, x minus R2. So in factored form, it's the opposite sign of what they are in the actual graph. And so if you can remember that, that's going to make it much, much easier for you dealing with this. All right, the next one is vertex form, but I don't know what the vertex form is for this particular equation. There are processes that I can use to find it, but we're going to hold off on that because we're going to use vertex form later in a different video to actually be able to solve the quadratic. But just looking in this form right here, I can see that in fact, if I'm trying to solve, and when we're trying to solve a quadratic, we're trying to solve the following. My quadratic, when it's set equal to 0, and I told you that what we're really trying to find are these. They're known as the roots or the zeros. Also the x-intercepts. Those are the solution. And in this case, it would be x equals 2 and x equals 3 would be our actual solution to this quadratic. So if I had it in standard form and I can graph it, I can immediately find those x-intercepts and find the solution. So that's how standard form would help me. But if I can factor it first, which is this format, well, now I can get to the roots directly because in factored form, my roots are right inside these parentheses. So either way, it allows me to solve using either of these two forms.